Hey everyone, Random Randy here. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make this pint of self-care ice cream pint cozy. This is a versatile and very quick to make little piece. You use 2 strands of worsted weight yarn held together, and you can also use it to hold soda cans or energy drink cans, or if it's your thing, you can have an adult beverage in it. It's not super stretchy, but it is wide enough on the bottom that it is accommodating of quite a few different things, and it will help prevent drips and condensation from leaving water rings on any of your surfaces, and it will keep your hands from getting chilly while you are enjoying your treat. So I'm going to tell you everything you need to make this awesome little item, which is perfect for last minute gifting or if you're wanting to fill in space on your craft fair table. As I said, 2 strands of worsted weight cotton. For this video, I'm going to be using Premier Home Cotton in Tangerine Splash and also Premier Home Cotton in Citrus Punch. Premier Home Cotton, I will warn you, is a polyester cotton blend. So if you are planning on using it for anything that might be warm, I would not recommend it because the polyester content may cause it to melt, and we don't want that. So aside from your yarn, you're going to need a crochet hook. In this case, we'll be using a 5.5mm hook or an eye hook. I prefer Susan Bates inline hooks. They are the most comfortable for me, and I have the least occurrences of dropping the yarn as I'm working, even double-stranded. You will also need a pair of scissors. I have these very small ones that I keep in my notions pouch, and it's perfect for lugging around when you're making things on the go. You'll also need a tapestry needle. I have quite a few different ones in this case, and they are all clover tapestry needles. If you're interested in getting any of these particular products, there will be affiliate links in the description box below the video. So, grab your hook, grab your yarn, and we will get started with this beginner-friendly pattern. Going to start off with both strands of yarn held together, and we're going to be making a magic ring so that then we can cinch it together and not have a big gaping hole in the middle of the circle on the bottom of the cozy. To make a magic ring, take your yarn, wrap it over your top finger, bring it all the way around, cross it over the top so you have a little X. I like to hold on to the end of my working yarn with my pinky just to keep my tension consistent when I'm doing this. Take your hook, stick it beneath both strands, or in this case all 4 strands since it's held double. Grab onto your working yarn and pull it through. Now we're going to chain 2. In a chain, you just yarn over the hook, pull it through the loop that's already on the hook. And this first chain that you make actually locks the ring into place so you don't have to worry about it falling apart. So we're going to do 1 more chain stitch, and then we're going to get started with round 1. This entire first round is going to consist of nothing but double crochet stitches, and the chain 2, for the purposes of this pattern, does not count as a stitch in your stitch count for each row. Double crochet, you yarn over the hook, so there's 2 loops, go through the center of the magic ring, grab the yarn, pull up a loop so you have 3, yarn over, go through your center 2, yarn over, go through your center 2. Do that 1 more time, yarn over, go through the center of the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop so there's 3, yarn over, go through your center 2, yarn over, go through the last 2. So now you have 2 double crochet stitches, and you're going to make 6 more. So go ahead and do that, and pause the video if you need to take a minute. with the power of movie magic, I'm going to fast forward through the rest of this row and meet back up with you at the end. Now that we have reached the end of the first row, you will notice that there is still quite a significant gap here, and we're going to take care of that right now. I'm going to grab onto the yarn tails, which are the short little bits left over from the beginning. You're going to hold onto your stitches, and you're just going to start tugging. You're going to give it gentle little tugs. Some not so gentle little tugs if you need to, because it's 2 strands and cotton's kind of sticky, until you've pulled it together so that it is completely closed off in the middle portion here. Now to finish off this row, we are going to slip stitch not into the chain 2, but we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. Slip stitch, you just poke your hook through the stitch, grab the yarn, pull it through, and pull through the loop on the hook. You've now completed round 1. Round 2 is going to be very simple. We're going to chain 2, and we're just going to do double crochet increases all the way around the entire row. Double crochet increase is just a fancy way of saying you put 2 stitches into each stitch of the last row. So rather than having 8 double crochet stitches, you're going to have 16 at the end of this round. So go ahead and get to work on that, and I will catch up with you at the end of this row. Now that we have 16 double crochet stitches, we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. Row 3 also starts off with a chain 2, but instead of being double crochet, this row is going to be half double crochet stitches. Half double crochet, you yarn over just like for a double, go through the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over. So now that you have 4 loops on the hook, rather than pulling through 2 and 2, you're just going to pull through all 3. That is a half double crochet. The pattern for this row is 1 half double crochet, and the next stitch gets 2 half double crochets. 1 half double crochet, 2 half double crochets. You're just going to keep repeating that all the way around until you get to the end, and at the end of this row you should have 24 half double crochet stitches. So go ahead and work on that, and I will meet back up with you at the end. Don't forget to pause the video if you need to. Now that you have reached the end of round 3, we're just going to slip stitch to finish off the row, just like with all the other rows before. Now that we have completed round 3, it's time to move on to round 4, and this is going to actually turn your cozy so it will be more of a cup shape and the bottom will sit flat. We're going to chain 1. And we're going to do single crochets, but it's going to be in the back loop only. If you've never worked back loop stitches, looking at the side of your stitches from the top, rather than going through both portions of this V, we're only going to go through the back 2. So instead of going here from the top down, we're going to bypass the front 2 loops, we're gonna go right through the back two. Show you what it looks like for a couple of stitches, just in case it seems funky and weird. So looking at it from the side, we're gonna go right through those back two, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through both on the hook. Go underneath the back strand, bring up a loop, yarn over, go through two. And as you keep going, you're going to notice that you can see that it's starting to get this sort of edge to it here. So the bottom portion will actually lay flat, and this will stand up straight on the side without having a weird bump that it would have if you just went through both loops like it was a hat. So continue going through the back loop, doing single crochets all the way back around to the beginning, and we are not doing any more increases, so you don't have to worry about doubling up on your stitches. Just go around with one stitch per stitch all the way through. Now that we have finished round 4, we're just going to slip stitch all the way through both portions of the stitch back into that first single crochet. Now, as you can see, it almost looks like a flat-bottomed bowl from the side. Row 5, going to chain 2, and we're going to double crochet in each stitch all the way around. Super easy. So hop to it and meet back up with me once you have finished this row. We have reached the end of round 5. So we're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet to finish off the row. Now, this next row, we're going to chain 2 to start. This is row 6. We're going to be doing double crochets, but we're going to be doing them in the 3rd loop. If you're not familiar with working in the 3rd loop, these are the front and back loop. So if you turn it from the front to the back, you can see that there is another little loop here that is beneath the back loop. This is the 3rd loop, and when we work a stitch through this, it's going to give the front a textured braided look, and it'll almost look like you've done surface crochet around it. So you're going to do a double crochet just like normal, except you're going to be going through this back or 3rd loop. 3rd loop. So once you've done it a couple of times, you can flip it and you can see it has this braided look to the front of it, which gives a lot of texture for holding on to, and it makes it look pretty without a lot of extra work. So go ahead and take your time and work through the 3rd loop, doing double crochets all the way around this row. And as you can see, I usually use my fingernail to grab onto it, primarily because the 3rd loop can be a little bit tighter, and we've got 2 strands we're trying to grab onto at the same time. So it can be a little bit fiddly at first, but it is well worth the extra effort, and it looks absolutely gorgeous once you've done the extra bit of work. So go ahead and finish up this row, and I will meet back up with you when you are done. And we are almost finished with the pattern, guys, so hang in there, keep at it. Now that we have finished row 6, I'm gonna slip stitch into that first double crochet of the round and start round 7. Round 7 is gonna be the same as 5. We're gonna chain 2 and then just double crochet in every stitch all the way around back to the beginning. And now we have reached the end of round 7. Gonna slip stitch right into that first double crochet. Gonna chain 2 to start off round 8. This next row is going to be the same as round 6. We're gonna be doing double crochets in the 3rd loop all the way around. So go ahead and do that, and I will meet back up with you at the end of the row, and we will do the final row and weave in our ends. Now that we have reached the end of row 8, just going to slip stitch right into that first double crochet, and now we're going to do our final round, which is going to be in reverse single crochet or the crab stitch. It gives a really nice edge and it gives it some nice texture. Gonna chain 1, and instead of working to the left, we're gonna be working to the right. So we're gonna go into the stitch from the front like we always would. Going to just grab the yarn, pull it through. You're going to want to give it a little bit of extra yarn to have it up to the height of a normal single crochet so it doesn't bow your edge in. Pull through both loops. Going to go into the next one here from the front. Grab the yarn, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Just going to keep going like that all the way around. And after you've done it a few more times, you'll kind of get used to it. Once you've completed a few more of the reverse single crochet or crab stitches, you'll see that it gives this really nice textured, almost wrapped rope edge. So just keep going with that all the way around, making sure you catch every stitch as you go. And I will meet back up with you at the end of the row so that we can finish it up. So now that we have finished the final round, we're going to slip stitch into that first reverse single crochet. You might have to use your fingers to pull it through because it might be a little bit tight. And we're going to take our scissors and trim off a tail that's about 4 to 6 inches long. Now we're going to need our tapestry needle. You're going to want a blunt, large-eyed needle. Both of these are clover needles. For most things, I usually use the gold one because it's big enough. But since I'm using 2 strands, the blue one has a wider eye and it's just a lot easier. This is actually made for using with bulky weight yarn. So we're going to go with the blue one. Going to pull the yarn tails right through that last stitch. And thread your yarn onto the needle. We're going to take the yarn from the front to the back. Pull it tight. Then you're just going to weave it through under some back portions of the stitches that aren't going to show on the front. I like to go back and forth in multiple directions through quite a few parts of the stitch because the probability of your piece stretching in all of those directions at the same time, so you pop your edges loose, so you pop your ends loose, is pretty slim. Once you're satisfied with where your ends are woven in, tie yourself a good double knot and snip off the ends. Now we're going to do the same thing with the one from the starting magic ring. And again, once you're satisfied, tie a double knot and snip off the ends. Turn it back right side out. And your Pint of Self-Care ice cream cozy is complete. Be sure to drop this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you never miss another upload. And big shout out and thank you to all of my supporters over at patreon.com/randomrandy. They keep these tutorials and videos rolling in with their monetary support every month. All of their names will roll by, and if you would like to be included in the credits, check it out, see if there's anything there that would be of use to you, and sign up if you'd like. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Bye.